Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Gregtech Community Edition Modern. This time we got our very first EV machines up and running with the EV assembler. We did build it in the other dimension, however, I have had to move it down. So we're going to go check on that really quick so I can show you. Did have to actually modify my setup. I gotta show you that really quick just so you can see what the issue was. Basically, the thing was getting backed up here because I ended up having it end up filling up. So I just slapped on another box so I could put a robotic arm here to make sure only 32 comes in. As well as the other issue I had is I had to move this output. I don't know why it did it, but it would not eject into the basic chemical reactor. So I had to fix that. But I did also move my assembler down in here, and I got our very first cutter as well. So, and I don't think we're going to make more than one of these. But I need to figure out expanding this room so that we can actually have more space to put machines in here and wire up the different like auto crafting components, as you do have to have this in here to get these MPIC chips, which I made up with a brown lens, and our phosphorus doped wafer. Again, you only need an HV of the laser, but you have to have an IV to cut it up. Or not IV, EV. Have to have an EV to actually cut it. So that is one thing that's pretty important. And I did set it up. We've got a whole bunch of stuff in our inventory for the large combustion engine, which is something I was looking forward to being able to do. I did actually set up both of the energy things. So we've got an energy hatch. Then we need, I think it's a dynamo. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and start with, I think we could just straight up go to this. We just need to put in our chips. But we're going to go ahead and straight up go for the EV. I guess it doesn't... Let's see, can I cancel that? What are we crafting? Oh, it's still crafting the ender item links. Why is that taking... Hello? Like, there's something weird that's been going on with the system, and I'm not entirely sure why. And hover back off again. Gotta grab out my battery. I'm kind of running low on batteries right now, as I've had to stack up some batteries in a couple different areas. But take those out, because we'll need those later. And let's see, where are we at here? Only halfway through it. Let's go downstairs and see what's going on. Because for some reason, it's saying it crafted 2 of them. But they never came in. And... every single time I go to craft that, like, it has a problem. It gets stuck here on these ashes thing. The only thing I can think of... Wait. That's one of the things... I don't know what's going on. I'm gonna have to check the recipe, but... maybe I'm gonna have to tell it to not have that other recipe. Okay. I'm gonna do it this time. And this other one is scheduling... something's not getting over there. What's... that's something not outputting again. That's great. Get to run around and start searching for that. I wonder if there's an issue with that machine down below. So it almost seems like something's not connected, something's not working, because device online, go through the machine hole out to here. Like, it recognizes that it's there. I don't know if there's like an issue with it not reading it. Back up and check it one more time. Yeah. Cancel. Break it. Oh. Are we having an issue with the... No. I don't think I built another fluid extractor, so like... I have no idea why it's not able to assess where it's going. So that one, and we're gonna have to break that one as well. It's having an issue with the fluid. Don't think it's... Okay, let's go ahead and see if there's like an output or an input clogged up. Oh. Not because the battery's in there, right? You know what? Oh boy, simple things that cause a whole lot of problems. Now both of those should work. And we actually want to get the regular dynamo. Honestly, can't believe it was such a dumb mistake here. We need a dynamo. So we'll get the regular one first. We need the regular one because that actually completes the quest to make the dynamo. And then once we have that dynamo, it'll open up the quest to... No. I guess it doesn't do a quest. But... get this over here. I do want to make sure that I get back over here and set this up to go back onto rutile duty once I'm... done. In fact, we'll actually just pull that out. So we can satisfy that being crafted by putting it into the one downstairs. And one of the upgrades I'm actually going to go ahead and do before we head over to the other place. Off. We just need to grab it out. And then we can dump our rutile in. And then here's the other thing. Oh, wait. That's something I didn't even realize was going on. We weren't even using nitrogen the entire time. No wonder it was going so slow. Okay. So one of the other upgrades I'm going to be doing for that blast furnace actually is to make a quadruple titanium fluid pipe into a quadruple input. This will allow us to stock it with multiple fluids. So this needs to be set to 1. That'll actually let that flow through, and then we can watch our dynamo being crafted down here. And we will double check that it is what it needs to be for the... if it's got a quest or not. But before that, we do want to keep this down here, I believe. Don't remember if it's going to be needed or not. I think I forgot one thing. It was the capsule of polytetrafluoroethylene that I had ready and set for crafting. There we go. No. Oh. That's right. We don't need it there. We need to craft it together. Oh, I was so worried for no reason. And there we go. There's an EV input hatch. Add our pipe on top, and we've got our quadruple input. we could actually power this down by simply taking this out. We'll let that finish up its process and we can add it on. We'll let it keep going because we're not going to add it on right now. We will have to change this pipe as well to... I don't know if helium's too cold. But helium's another liquid we're going to have to put in there, so... we can actually grab out the pipes for that. Maybe I will do it right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Together. I guess I already had some in there, but... whatever. Fine. I think we need to get back in through here to get to it. Looks like we're empty on that hatch. Go ahead and break that. We can hook it on up. Set that there. Get rid of that. And to our quadruple input hatch. Looks like it's facing the right way. Now the only test is to go and fill up that with as much rutile as I can. And it looks like that will accept it. And we just have to check over here. Our 4 different input slots. I do wonder if it has to be 4 different liquids or if it will end up filling up multiple liquids. One way to test that, we can go ahead and enable fluid output. And let's see. So it has the nitrogen in there, as well as currently doing a titanium ingot, and we'll see what it does next. Just to make sure that it's working properly, because there is stainless steel in there. Looks like it went right into another titanium, so it is working perfectly. Let's look at it. We got our dynamo hatch, so let's get that out just in case it's needed for a quest. And then upgrade that really quick. And do it the quick way, not the hard way. But the reason we want this 4 amp dynamo is that we can put in oxygen. While it will double the fuel consumption per tick, it will triple the output in the... what's it called? Triple the output of the energy. But it also doesn't hurt because it will only put out the amperage that it can. So it's one of those future-proofing ideas. I did want to come over here and put it down here. So let's go ahead and break as much of this stuff and move it on out of the way. We have space, we have space. And then I do not want to lose all the fuel that's in here, as we aren't at a place where we have tons of diesel just yet. So let's see, I do have a tank. You can come through and sweep out the outer ones. And these can be used somewhere else later if we need to. And then let's sweep out this inner one. Oh, I should have definitely done something about taking care of those first. Forgot that there would be tons of fuel in those lines too, because these carry quite a bit. So, oh, you know, should be smart and disconnect it before. There we go. Okay. Those are now all out of the way. We'll go put the fuel back in here while I remember that I got it. And now it's time to start building up our large combustion engine. Now, just looking at the recipe for it, the input needs to go in on a side. So we'll probably just leave it where it is. And we can put it 1 block over, right here, to our frame, into our multi-block structure. And then we'll go the casing all the way out. 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't want that there because there is a gearbox. These gearboxes are needed inside of the diesel engine. And then we go out. Oh. Now, one thing I'm a little bit confused about, and I made 2 outputs for it. So that's actually one of the reasons I'm 1 block short, is that I do need to put another input spot. And we're going to see if it will build like this. That's not the input hatch I wanted. I wanted these ones. So 1 there. 1 there. Then let's get ourselves a muffler. Does it build the structure? It does not. So that is good to know. It said you need to supply it with lubricant. And I don't know if that's because you needed to use one of the titanium blocks. We can actually run back and get that auto-crafted really quick, because I did, like I said, set up all of the casing things to this last episode, but one of those things that I guess I did have just a spare. One of those things, you know that you're going to end up using it, you might as well set it up. So that should finish the multi-block structure, maybe. We have a problem. Is it good to go? No. What's wrong? Something is not right. Oh. That's right. That's why I was missing a thing. So we have to have those. Let's go ahead and place it right here. For now, I'm going to use the auto maintenance hatch. If it will accept that. Does it accept that? We got a maintenance hatch. We got a dynamo. We got a muffler hatch. Maintenance hatch. What is wrong? Layer 1. Layer 2. Layer 3. Maybe it does have to be in specific spots. Let's go ahead and test that theory out. And right there on the bottom. So one of the things that they recommend with this is setting it up. Okay, it does have to be on the bottom. So that is an important note. Cannot be down over here. I wonder if it has to be in that exact spot. If it does, it's kind of interesting thought process, which is kind of good that it is an auto one, just so I don't have to worry about it right now. But now we just have to wrench the pipe. Now, one of the things that was very interesting, failed recipe setup. Why? Do we need a multi-input? Is that a requirement? Or can I put it in like I wanted to over here? You can. Okay. So you do need lubricant as one of the things that it said that we needed. Which I prepared quite a bunch. Just need to go get some. So let's grab probably full 12 amount here from downstairs. I did set it up to be grabbed directly from here and go straight into clean room. So that can now be taken over and we can power that large dynamo. And it will only create 1 EU or EV energy thing per tick. So that is fine. Let's go ahead and dump that. And yeah, it looks like it uses barely any. So it doesn't need a whole lot to run, but it will run. And then one of the important things, it did say that it will shut off, and I wanted to make sure this was actually the case once it gets to max power, and it does. So now we're going to go ahead and wire this out. And I want, for now, a single aluminum cable to come out into the bat box. I have 8 Lapotron crystals we're going to put in there so that it can start burning up some fuel. And, ooh. And burn up the cable, you know, things like that. Forgot that it can actually, even though it cannot actually power anything, it can supply at that rate. So we do need 2 of these. Go ahead and just leave that one uncovered and try to avoid touching it. So, because it can take all of that input, it's going to. So let's go ahead and wire that up. I've got our wire clippers to clip that on in. And then one thing I can do is I can actually set up a diode to make sure that it only wires out 1 power. However, I don't think I'm going to do that. I think we will make ourselves 1 more of those, as the other 2 things that we're going to be doing today do require me to actually be able to pass energy over to some other machines. So in the meantime, let's go ahead and put our combustion generator away, as we mostly want to be using the Lapotron crystal as our battery pack. And we do need a basic chemical reactor, and we're going to need 2 other machines. I don't know if I got them looked up yet. We need ourselves an electrolyzer. So we need ourselves the advanced electrolyzer, which all but the platinum wire can be crafted. So let's go ahead and do that up. Grab out the platinum. Two of those, and we'll take those up and drop them in a wire mill. So we need the electrolyzer and a chemical bath. I'll just get that looked up. Chemical bath. And we'll wait for that last supercomputer to be processed before we switch over to that. Make sure those actually... For some reason, they're not stacking, and I don't want unstacked items like that in my inventory, so we'll just leave them there. Yeah, what is wrong with them? I wonder if they're in discharge mode is the problem. One of them is anyways. Just waiting on items. Hello? I guess something's glitched down there again? Or is it just taking a second? It's just taking a second. Got it. Okay. So there's our electrolyzer. And the other thing, like I said, we need a chemical bath. We need some more Canthol, it looks like. So let's order some Canthol. Do like 10 more. Be nice and quick on those. I think that setup I got for that is pretty interesting, because it goes and cooks it downstairs, and then this will import all hot ingots directly in to cool them off. But having a quadruple input hatch is actually quite nice, because now we can hook up the blast furnace to not only have this nitrogen, but once we get helium set up, we can set that up as well. And now, one of the things I did want to do, I actually need a barrel, or a drum, not a barrel, a drum, a crate. Need ourselves a bronze crate. Because once we've got this chemical bath, the thing that we're looking to actually set up is going to be a way to start processing our tungsten, I believe. Yes, tungsten group stuff. And so to do that, we're actually going to have to pull out tungsten out of here. Looks like we're literally so stocked up that we're a little bit backed up. But we need to pull out our scheelite. What was the other one it said? Scheelite. I don't have any of that one. Or tungstate, which I don't have any of that either. Oh boy, I guess it's time to go grab our miner. And I'll be back when the miner has been grabbed and all of our stuff is finished auto-crafting. Alright, we are back. Just about done crafting up all the stuff for the chemical bath that we're going to need. But it did take me a second to go find them because I actually had to go to the additional parts in the end to even go find the ore that I needed, as the main platform in the end had absolutely none of the dusts there. But we're going to go ahead and add a filter saying that these dusts need to be whitelisted to circle back out into a additional crate. So if we're going to go ahead, we can put the crate back there. We can say if it meets this requirement, we'll insert it into there. And then on this one, we will set this to a different channel. Let's go with all zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this will be our tungstate group. And there we go. That should try that again. Tungstate. There we go. So now we can go ahead and be able to select that channel once we get through it. But to get to that point now, we're just going to have to grab out some of that and start processing it. So there's our first batch of scheelite coming in. And toss that on in there. That in there, and then just slide that box. Worried that it wasn't mining all that much, but it is. It's still working. That's good. Now, we just gotta go make sure that our chemical bath stuff is done, and we can craft that up. And take it with us. And the last eventful thing that we've got to do, and I think we'll just take in 8. We need hydrochloric acid. It looks like we have a decent chunk of. I guess it won't let you just grab it all at once. We have a decent chunk of those. Just wanted to check. So we can do 4 at a time if we do that way in the chemical bath, which is good. So we are going to need a couple more filters and possibly. Let's look at this. To get that, we're going to get these 2 outputs. We'll get calcium and we will get chloride dust. Okay. Oh, we are going to want another crate, actually. As that is where we will send it out to. So we're going to need that. And then doing that one will give us hydrogen and oxygen. Don't think we need the oxygen. So we can void that with a void cover. And then other part will give us the calcium and the chloride. So we're going to want a couple of the different filters for sure. So let's grab out a fluid filter. Let's grab out like 4 of those. And then make sure we have enough for at least one more of those. No longer need that in there. And then we made a thing, and I forgot what it was. It was a crate. There we go. And then the last important thing, besides some more wires, probably, especially because the 2X cables aren't going to cut. Actually, no, we got the 4X cables. We're good. So the last thing that we're going to want is our polytetrafluoroethylene, as they can handle our acids. So let's go look at setting this up. So take this. We're going to go ahead and pump out our energy right there. And then we will go 1. That is not the direction I wanted that to go. 1 and 2. So our first machines to be powered are these two. And we're going to need our... I wish it could just be like underneath it. We'll do that and that. Get our wire cutters out to clip them up, put them together. Okay. I guess I could have done something because I need a robotic arm. But we will put this on here so we can set that up to get the sludge. Oh, and we want this to be an import. Not an import. An export, that's right. So I'll have to go fix the other one later. But we're going to have both our outputs go into here. And then this is where it starts to get tricky. So we're going to have the tungstic acid. Once we make the tungstic acid, that's going to go through the electrolyzer. We're going to get tungstate and hydrogen. So the tungsten can go out, the calcium can go out. So we're going to have tungstate and calcium and lithium. Calcium. And then where'd the other one go? Tungstate. Lithium. So there we go. So we need lithium, not tungsten, but calcium and tungsten to be able to come out this way. Then we're going to have the item, the hydrogen. Oh boy, this is definitely going to be harder because I'm going to have to go down to get rid of one of the things coming out, so we're going to want the hydrogen and chloride to go down. So make sure... Is that all that we're going to have? Is we're going to just have excess oxygen? Let's look at this. Hold on. Hydrogen, we'll have excess oxygen, then we'll have the tungstate. Yeah, that's it. And we'll just have the oxygen that needs to get voided. So I don't actually need to dig down. We just need to say those in there so we don't have to worry about that anymore. And get our chemical reactor out. And here is where the fun part begins. So we do need to get our transformers. Thought I had a transformer that went down. Oh, there it is. So you get a high voltage transformer. So we want this to go... Let's just get this where we need it. So this needs to be here. And then we go medium. Then we go high. Then we go this one. Just have to rotate it. And so that should step down from EV. Oh, but that's a battery. So that's not really going to do what we need it to do right there. Unless we back it up one. I'd rather do that to begin with. So we'll go ahead and pull those out. Put that right up there. Bam. And back it on up with a simple click. And there we go. That should now provide power. Is it stepping up? We got something stepping up somewhere? Oh, that's a battery buffer. What am I doing? I totally had the space. I'm just psyching myself out with this now. Transformer. Facing that way. Get rid of this one. Flip it there. Get rid of this one. Place that there. And then place our battery back down. Boom. Yep, everything is now powered. So now we are going to have to build one more crate on the other end. But we will have the hydrofluoric acid get pumped back into here once it is made. Hydrochloric, not hydrofluoric. What am I talking about? We just need to void the oxygen. So, get the oxygen in there. And then we can actually even just invert this and say not oxygen. And then if that one go there, we'll go get a void duct. We will get ourselves another crate. And set the thing to automatically export over. So let's see. Let's also bring over another 8 vials of that hydrochloric acid. Just like to make sure that it's topped off the best that it can and perform the thing that we need. So we need crate. I'd like 2 of them. And then the other thing we were needing is a void. Which I might check to make sure. I actually have a fluid void cover. So we just need those. And we need crates, as well as to make sure that this thing is actually set up to import. Hoping that that is actually, looks like it is, setting the items over where it needs to go. And there we go. We got plenty of our scheelite and tungstate now. So we're going to go ahead and just chuck all of that in there, let it get going, let it do its thing. I guess the only thing I want to check really quick was this. This was not a sodium persulfate one, so we're good. That was the only other worry I had was, oh, maybe this is a sodium persulfate thing, and we might be just draining our persulfate faster than I'm expecting it to be drained. Oh, I didn't grab my crates, did I? Got one. Guess I didn't craft two. Oh, actually, so this is something I do kind of find fun. I want to look more into it again, like I do every time when I find something else out. If this is actually like a similar process to what they have to do to go through and get the tungsten out of the different items that we get them pulled out of. Because I know that they're trying to do a whole bunch of stuff that simulates a bunch of things, and I don't know if they've already done it yet. People have said that they have with some stuff, but I googled the the muffler. I looked up what the muffler did, because a lot of these recipes start recommending higher mufflers, and I'm like, you know, I remember that, like, the biggest difference with them is whether or not you got ashes back. But I wasn't sure about that. And it is actually one of the things as of right now. But the other thing is that's supposed to be what gives you, what's it called? The pollution. The lower the hatch, the higher the pollution that is caused, which I thought was actually quite interesting. So, you know what else I forgot to grab? Some way to force this over, but we'll go ahead and just stack it on in for now. Make sure we're getting our sludge. Go ahead and put this here. Get ourselves, I guess we can make sure that both of these are on auto output. And then we just need to put on our fluid voiding cover. Put on the bottom, and we'll put in oxygen. And that can change later on if we really need to add more oxygen into the system. There is that going through. We're out of hydrochloric acid. Hello? Where is it going? Or has it just been... Oh, it's not been outputting the items because it's not a fluid that outputs, it's an item that outputs. Okay. I guess I just was missing that. So it should go through and process each thing. It's going to take a second to do all of its stuff. Thought I put... Is it not outputting? Extract. Extract and insert? I guess that's something that doesn't work. It does have to actually say what you want to have it in there. So let's add those in. Hydrogen. Change it from a black list to a white list. And chlorine. Goodness. Fat fingering buttons so much. And then we want filter extract. Oh. Now you gotta do this. And set that up that way. That's what the problem was. Got it. So I guess I could have done the other way. I just had it messed up so it wasn't doing its thing. So now this will then rotate it back on in. And this needs to auto output over here. We're not going to go into the chest. tungstate, calcium. Filter extract, you know. Switch the directions. Switch the directions and we're fine. There we go. And there is all of our new stuff. And now we can put this right here. And we will change this to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And we will call this Tungsten Return. Because we will be processing it most likely on the other end right now. There we go. Our very first setup to get ourselves tungstate. Oh, that didn't get set to import, so we gotta switch that to right over here. Nope, we were at the right area. Let's get out the tungstate to successfully process that. And then we need to set this to import. I have that. That was strange. Guess we get to go find out where those went. They end up here. Where did they even go? You know, it shouldn't be there. Maybe I forgot to change it fast enough so that we wouldn't get weird stuff in it. But now we can set it up over here. You ender link and then pump out into the auto sorting. So export that way. Here we go. Calcium and our tungstate. So I will go ahead and slap on some conveyor belts so that those automatically process different things. I want to thank you guys for watching here as we got our tungsten set up and a big old generator. That one's going to be nice of a setup as now we can do some kind of like crazy lineups of that. I'm hoping we can get to some sort of like battery pack, but I don't think those are in this area yet. I think the closest we got still is those battery buffers with the Lapotron crystals in them. But we'll see you guys next time where we progress even further into the tech tree. And please remember to subscribe and leave a comment if you're interested. Thank you very much, and bye!